Donald Trump is being accused of flip-flopping on the issue of the minimum wage on an interview, after an interview with NBC's Chuck Todd. Let's take a listen to that.
Minimum wage.
I'm glad you cleared it.
Minimum wage. At a debate, you remember what you said. You thought you didn't want to touch it. Now you're open to it. What changed?
Let me just tell you, I've been traveling the country for many months, since June 16th. I'm all over. Today I'm in the state of Washington, where the arena right behind me, you probably hear, is packed with thousands and thousands of people. I'm doing that right after I finish you. I have seen what's going on, and I don't know how people make it on $7.25 an hour. Now, with that being said, I would like to see an increase of some magnitude, but I'd rather leave it to the states. Let the states decide, because don't forget, the states have to compete with each other.
Right. You want
so
but should the federal government set a floor, and then you let the states?
No, I'd rather have the states go out and do what they have to do. And the states compete with each other, not only other countries, but they compete with each other, Chuck. So I like the idea of let the states decide. But I think people should get more. I think they're out there, they're working. It is a very low number. You know, with what's happened to the economy, with what's happened to the cost, I mean, it's just, I don't know how you live on $7.25 an hour.
Well, I have an answer to that. You don't. You can't live on $7.25 an hour. Nowhere in America are you able to rent a two-person bedroom apartment on the minimum wage. You'd have to work crazy amounts of hours, from 70 to 90 to 100 plus hours a week, just to be able to afford rent for a two-bedroom apartment. Anywhere in America, you can't do it. You can't do it. So no, there's your answer. You can't live on $7.25 an hour, not without government help. And that's a big problem. But here's the other thing, right? It's not necessarily a flip-flop. Now, he says that actually keep it the same. Let's keep it the same, right? Now, he also said previously, and I want to show you a video of this, where he thought the wages were actually too high. Let's take a listen.
But taxes too high, wages too high. We're not going to be able to compete against the world. I hate to say it, but we have to leave it the way it is. People have to go out, they have to work really hard, and they have to get into that upper stratum.
That was all the way back in November. It was all the way back in November when he said wages are too high, but we've got to keep it the same. Is it really a flip-flop? No. His plan is to essentially let the states decide. Well, that sounds fine in theory, right? Unless you actually think about the effects of just getting rid of the federal minimum wage and letting all the states decide. For example, if California wants to go to a $16 minimum wage, well, that's awesome, right? But Texas, on the other hand, wants to go down to $3. Well, what do you think is going to happen? All the businesses are going to go to Texas. And California will unfortunately have to lower its wages to $3 to compete. It's a race to the bottom when you have states that compete to host businesses. For example, there's a real world, real life example right now. Delaware. Delaware has probably more corporations than people at this point. Why? Because they're allowed to have less regulations than other states. That's what's going to happen. You get rid of the minimum wage and you let the states decide. Well, on the minimum, then the states, the companies are going to go to the states with the absolute lowest wage. It is a race to the bottom. Now, of course, Donald Trump thinks, no, this is going to be fantastic. We're going to have absolutely tremendous growth by me essentially doing nothing. So no, it's not a flip-flop. He's actually consistent on this because he said, literally, I'm not going to do anything. Only it's different now. He says, well, you know what? I said the wages were too high earlier and that I wasn't going to do anything about it. Now I think wages are too low and that people can't survive on $7.25 an hour, but I'm still not going to do anything about it. Look, this is Trump's plan for pretty much everything. I'm going to sit back, I'm going to do nothing, and we'll have tremendous results. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. Me doing nothing. This guy could very well end up being the next president of the United States. I weep for America. I weep for us all.